Hello, everyone. Welcome. Please do get settled in. It's early morning session, so I think we'll have people keep trickling in. But welcome, welcome, welcome. Wait for the doors to close. So morning, folks, and thank you for being here. I'm Saurabh Pant, and I have a colleague of mine in the first row, Pratap Ladani, who's helped me with the content that I'll be presenting. And we'll have an esteemed customer on the stage as well, making it real what I'll talk about. But welcome. Thank you for being here. Pratap and I are part of the PowerCat team. We are the PowerApps Flow and the Common Data Service Customer Advisory team. We are part of PowerApps engineering. We work a lot with the community. We work a lot with our marquee customers, folks at the cutting edge, pushing PowerApps, trying new features, trying new deployment engagement models. So what you'll see in the hour to follow, or the next 40 minutes to follow, will be patterns that we've seen at different organizations as we've interacted with them. We'll also be pointing you to a whole set of resources, other sessions where you can get the next level of detail. You might not leave with a definite playbook, do step 1, 2, 3, because I don't believe there exists one, given the different type of organizations that exist. And that's one thing we observed as we work with customers. But what you will get is examples of other organizations who've done it, been successful, and learning that you can take to your organization. So that's it, the PowerCat team. So that was us. Let's get to know you guys better. Just curious about your familiarity with PowerApp, what folks in here. Let's start with 2. How many feel like there are 2 in here in the room? Okay, very cool. Early in the journey. How about a 3? At least have a PowerApp introduction. Okay, a much smaller subsection. Multiple PowerApps in production is becoming a problem. That's why I'm here. Okay? Okay. And how many have already taken some steps toward building what they would internally think of the COE? Okay? It's a good mix. And to be honest, it is a reflection of where our ecosystem is as well, right? There are folks who are early in their journey. There are folks whose organization maybe has been on the journey for a while, and they just realize that this has taken off in their organization organically and are figuring out a strategy around it. So we'll talk to all of those aspects, but that is the reality of where the ecosystem is as well. So here's what the agenda looks like. Well, I'll be on stage for 40 minutes. I'll talk about PowerApps market momentum, just touch on it a little bit. I will talk about low code in your organization, just what it means, how you build a plan around it. I'll talk about what are maybe the basic steps you can take towards getting a handle around PowerApps in your organization. And then we'll talk about, hey, if I have the investment, exec sponsorship, the resources to build a full-fledged COE, here's what are the broad areas we should be investing in. Make sense? Sounds like what people were looking for? A lot of nodding heads? Good. And that'll be me. And then for the last 20 minutes, we'll have our friends from Chevron who've done some real cutting edge work around a COE for PowerApp. They've been proactive. They're making investments in front of the adoption wave that they see coming at Chevron. So they'll share their real world story, so you don't need to trust me. You can hear it directly from them, ask them questions, see what works in the real world. PowerApps momentum. And I mean, I don't need to tell you, if you're at this conference, you can feel the vibe, you can feel the energy, you can feel something for a technology that started completely new 3 years back. This is phenomenal. Actually, I can't think of any other technology that has reached 2.5 million MAU in just a few years. So crazy energy around PowerApps, crazy organic energy around PowerApps, crazy attention from organizations. A few numbers in there. lot of data in our common data service, 2.5 million monthly active users, 7 times growth in the number of production apps. So we have a whole set of apps people create on our platform. We use heuristics to look at apps what we consider production, which get real active usage, because we think those are a good reflection of the health of our ecosystem. And those have grown 7 times over the last year. PowerApps monthly active usage up 3 times, crazy numbers. So good stuff are happening. There's a balance to the yin and yang. That also means as it takes off in your organization, we now have sessions like COE. There was no COE session last MBAS. We were talking about how to build your first app. What is PowerApps? Will it survive till the next year? Is low code real? No one asked me that question anymore. I used to be last year at MBAS at the booth, and it was already, Microsoft has tried low code before. It doesn't work. This is going to die. Now it's about, hey, how do I build a COE? This is real. What's interesting is, as my team engages with customers, it's interesting to also see that change in the conversations, right? Like I talked about, we were talking to customers about, let's get the first production app in your organization. Then the standard banks, SNCF, you're talking about, hey, you've reached 100. How do we double that number? And now it constantly, people talk to me and say, hey, I'm establishing a COE, or that's what I want to do. Where's your package to be able to do that? What's your guidance? And we heard it often enough that we submitted this talk for MBAS. Okay, so let's get into the meat of the presentation. And I like to do it with this slide because I think it's good to confront this up front. There is no hiding behind the fact that this technology, there is a dichotomy to it. There are 2 aspects of the technology, and that's one of the reasons that admins, our partners, struggle around how to categorize. They've never seen something like this before in a technology landscape, because it absolutely is an empowerment technology. It is about lowering the barrier of entry, getting folks into building apps who would not have found it approachable in the past, who would not have been ever considered that they could build an app. PowerApps bring them into the ecosystem, and throughout this conference, you'll see examples of great work done by citizen developers. But at the same time, it equally is a great pro-dev productivity tool. You can build applications that connect to Azure, do machine learning in Azure, have a very rich middle tier. You can build mobile applications that via middle tier connect to SAP on the Azure cloud. These are the personas who, they could fire up Visual Studio and build that app in Xamarin if they so desired. But developers gravitate towards the most productive tool. They want to concentrate not on plumbing, but business value. So you do see that dichotomy. And I think we need to embrace it and build a point of view. So the first thing I request folks to do is, you are educating yourself in this conference, go back, work with the right leaders in your organization, and just say, what does, from our culture, for our industry, where we are headed, what is our point of view on low-code development? So educate yourself, step number 1. You guys are doing that by being here already. Build a point of view, spend some cycles on it. And the reason I'm not going to force a point of view on you, and I'll give you our point of view, but I realize every industry is different, every organization is different culturally, every vertical is different, every business unit is different. So educate yourself, make a conscious plan, and the plan could be we're going to wait, the plan could be we are going in heads on. Build a plan, and of course get sponsorship for it. If in an organization, if you are looking to be the thought leader around PowerApp, build sponsorship around it, say, hey, I've observed, I think this is real, this is what we need to do, get exec sponsorship around it. So think about these things from an organizational perspective. And if you don't do any of these, you already have an implicit plan, right? There is the technology in the organization, things are moving. The more you get in front of it, the better and thoughtful about it. From our point of view, we do see organizations that say, hey, for us, this is a pro-dev productivity tool. We'll focus on the dev persona, and we are not ready for citizen development. There are organizations that say, this is purely about citizen development in our org, we don't want IT involved. This is something we're going to keep at that layer. Citizen development is the enablement part, is the revolutionary part of this technology. There just are not going to be enough developers in our industry for us to be able to meet the demand from business, if we do not start building no-code into IT. PowerApps fits in very well with our mission of empowering everyone and every person on the planet to achieve more. So we believe that organizations that will be most successful with this technology are ones that build a plan, embrace both bottom-up and top-down, and then build guardrails around it. And we'll be sharing a lot of content that helps you do that. So on that point of view, I'll be peppering in customer examples all throughout the talk and real customers we work with. So we have Alan and Ladd on the front row here from Schlumberger. Schlumberger provides engineering services to a wide variety of energy companies. Here's what the digital strategy at Schlumberger looks like. You'll see there's a concept of centralized IT and decentralized IT. All of this is independent of PowerApps, right? Organizations build an IT strategy irrespective of our technology. When PowerApp comes on the landscape, what do you think happened at Schlumberger? Where it got picked up first was in the decentralized IT part. Alan, who's on the front row here, so you guys can hear it from him, and we'll maybe have him come up for questions, picked it up, made amazing progress with the technology. Then we have Ladd from Central IT, who's seen the progress in his organization, sees the value in it, is stepping in, is building guardrails around it, investing in a COE, taking it to the next level, right? So when I talk about this dichotomy, the fact that they can work together with the goodness of the organization is real. We see it happen in organizations, and we have a real example right here on the front row. Yeah. But before we get too caught up on the COE talk, right, I did want to step back a bit and say, sometimes I feel people getting intimidated just by even the concept of a COE. It sounds like I need to go to my resource planning, I need to ask for extra resources. Your COE could be 20% of your time. It could be, if you look at your organization and have a plan, and the plan has to be based on the reality of where your organization is. So I wanted to, before I even went into the COE and the function it needs to do, say, if you had to start small, there are 3 things I believe you need to do. One is make sure PowerApps and Flow are secure in your organization and you are comfortable with it. We've built the platform to be secure by default. So we feel good about it. We stand behind it. But educate yourself. Look at it. I'll talk a little bit more about secure down the line. But that goes without saying. But we stand behind our technology and we feel good about how it's implemented on a default tenant without you touching it at all. Next is you need to put some effort into evangelizing it. And then step back and monitor it. Sometimes you don't need to overthink it. It's give your citizen developers the resources, give your business IT, give your central IT the resources, say, hey, go play with this, and observe what happens, and then react to it. Sometimes it's all right to be reactive for a new incubation technology for your organization like PowerApps. And then folks tell me, what does evangelism mean? Again, is it will be a full-time job? Do you need to hire someone who will go on my organization evangelizing? You could start small. You could be hungry, be agile. Here's an example of what you could do, right? App in a day. There's content that Microsoft puts out. It's an all-day lab. We've seen a lot of organizations just start organizing a set of app in a days. Maybe every first Friday of every month, you get your business people, everyone together, say, let's build an app, and you really can. There's step-by-step content that you can leverage. App in a day that you can run in your organizations. Content has been up there for a few years now. We also have partners delivering the app in a day for organizations free across the globe. There'll be 300 of these over the next 12 months. Attend those. We also curate a set of resources. So if you don't have training material, we curate a bunch of resources from places like Embass and put it up. That could just become your training deck. So you could start small, and we'll support you on the way to get the evangelism piece going. Now, we'll talk more about the start small. I'll again start with a customer example. SNCF, the French railroad, one of the top deployments of PowerApps in terms of maturity and usage. But even in an organization like that, they started small. I would highly encourage folks, we have a 6-minute video that walks through the SNCF journey more from an IT, organizational, cultural perspective and how they approach PowerApps. I won't have time to play it for you, but I highly recommend people try it out, aka.ms SNCF video. So what did SNCF do in the early days to get PowerApps around? Something small. They built a Yammer group. They started getting people added to it. They encouraged people to collect in Yammer, talk to each other in their organization about PowerApps, and then to some extent step back and saw what happened. They did a few app in a days, they did evangelism thrown in, and they built telemetry. So they got the people connected, they gave them the resources and said, let's step back and see what happens. And this is what they observe, right? They're seeing it slowly picking up, different centers, and this is all real data from SNCF. That's why the top app creator is grayed out. It slowly starts picking up, people get real adoption. And at some point, they were at MBAS last year, they talked about how they've reached, I think it was already 40, 50 apps, and now a COE is stepping in and they are investing and they are building stuff on top of it. So later in the day, there are dedicated sessions on the stories you're hearing right now. Shlumberjay is presenting their story for, in the room C107. SNCF is presenting their story or representing their story from last MBAS and how they've grown. So a lot of these customer stories are referenced to Chevron as well. You will be seeing in this conference. So again, start small, evangelize, monitor, and then as it grows, build a plan around it. But there will come a point where you will need a center of excellence, or you could follow the Chevron model, who's getting proactive and getting in front of the flood that they know that's coming. So center of excellence, different definitions. I guess they always, the few key elements. You need to have the right, it's about delivering a set of processes that you've put in place and through well-educated people, and a lot of that training that goes with the talent part of it comes from the COE as well. And the COE, in some ways, a misnomer in the sense that it's all about enablement, right? It's the example that we have there of the nursery in there, because it's apt from a COE perspective. It's all about, like you'd plan out a garden. You'll plan it out. You need to have a thought around it, what you plan to grow, what you plan to do. And then you need to do a nurture motion around it. You need to do some defensive motions around making sure that what you're doing for nurture actually thrives. And then you also need to make sure there are guardrails for it to thrive the way you want your garden to thrive. All of that very similar to what you would do in a COE. So here are our broad thoughts on if you're investing in a COE, what areas constitute it. Now, you guys are welcome to take images. You will be getting the deck. 4 broad categories: administration and governance. And when folks think of a COE, sometimes we only think of number 1. I want a COE because I want to log this thing down and that's my COE. And maybe that's right for your organization, but I think that's a very myopic approach, right? It's one element of what you need to do in a COE. There are other COEs where we've seen folks who set the right guardrails and then they wait, and the organic development they are hoping for doesn't come, because they have the opposite problem. They come to us thinking, what else can I do? Because they haven't done the evangelism nurture aspect of it as well. You need to do both in parallel. You want to figure out a support model around it, and then you want to operationalize as much of it as possible as things grow, automate as much of it as possible. So if you dig deeper into it, this is what the playbook looks like, and I'll walk through each of these individually. So let's start with administration and governance. So for this, here are a set of sessions that we had at the Business Application Summit. There was a pre-day called Admin in a Day. Were there folks in here who could make that? Okay. So reach out to these folks. They'll tell you how great it was. And the good piece is that all of that content is available online. So aka.ms PowerApps Admin in a Day. Like I talked about App in a Day, again, it's a free resource from Microsoft. It's a day-long lab. It has a set of step-by-step instructions. There are presentations and hands-on lab that will help you get familiar with all the admin, or a great portion of the admin and governance capabilities that come with the platform. So highly recommended, Admin in a Day for your organization. Next, there was a session yesterday from James So we have James Olenek on the row here. He owns, and Daria. So we have the PM and dev owners for folks who own admin for PowerApps. So he had great tips around how to secure, monitor, and alert and action themes, and then 10 themes mapped to it. And as you notice, there was a COE toolkit that he talks about. It's step number 10 that I'll talk about. So for secure, monitor, and alert and action, I'll touch on it, but I'll highly recommend folks go back, watch the video recording of this session, get those assets, and educate themselves. And then there's a workshop coming up. There's a presentation yesterday as well, and then there's a presentation coming in later today, I guess right after this, on what the roadmap is for our admin capabilities. So in addition to all of this, one thing that we are introducing at this conference so again, sorry, I'm handing out homework to you guys. So app in a day, admin in a day, go and watch the session from yesterday that I had in there. The other piece of the homework is COE Starter Kit. So we have a great set of capabilities that come in the platform. We have a great piece of extensibility that you can leverage that the admin in a day walks you through and gets you comfortable with. The next step that we heard from customers was that Virgin Atlantic is implementing the same thing in a different way. Chevron, Schlumberger, SNCF, Standard Bank. We took all of those learnings and we templatized them. So we are introducing a COE starter kit. If you go to aka.ms COE starter kit, you'll get a whole set of resources along with a manual that has assets built in that helps you, gives you, for example, a DLP editor that helps you get better comfortable and play with our data loss prevention policies. There's a whole set of Power BI assets to better monitor your organization. There's stuff to react to the growth in your organization, using alerts and action. And then there is stuff like how, if there's a flow you can just set up in your organization where any new person is using PowerApps for the first time, flow for the first time, you can send them a welcome email. So we've templatized a bunch of these assets, and we are handing it to you folks to implement within your organization along the same categories. So if one big takeaway, do look at the COE starter kit. It is a distillation of all our learning from different customers put into a templatized fashion to get you started quickly within your organization. Like again, think of the welcome email. It's just a flow. You don't need to templatize it. It's all in there. Configure it, deploy it. Now you have a welcome email. Your first step towards nurture is already making progress. And so here's what's a few things in the COE starter kit. A policy around managing your data loss prevention policies. Now for secure, I'm not going into too much detail because we do have a lot of sessions that cover it. One of those talks about our data loss prevention policies, and these are additional tools on top of it that help you customize it even further. Monitor, it provides you out-of-the-box Power BI dashboards and PowerShell scripts that help you collect data, put a Power BI dashboard on it, and now all of you can have those cool visuals that I showed you from SNCF. So you can have your own geographic, so for next Embass, we can play your videos in here. Yeah. And then there are proactive steps in there about getting alerted. Here's an example of a real email that Kent from Inter Pipeline gets every day that shows him about activity going on in his organization. So all of these tools exist. All of it is possible in the platform. We have a template for it, and we are handing it to you. So that was administration and governance. Since James did such a great job at the conference covering it, I touched on it, but you guys will have to follow up and educate yourself. Let's talk a little bit more about nurture, right? You've put the guardrails in place. Now you want that growth to go. And this one, again, there is no playbook. It goes into the culture of your organization and how you would like to do it. But what we see is there's evangelism, there's community development, there's training and support. I'll put it up there. It's a busy slide, but in some ways, even if you step back, think of any technology where you are encouraging a grassroots movement. It could be office teams in your organization, getting Yammer adoption in your organization. You need to invest in it. You need to educate people. You need to give them a forum where they can come together, share ideas. All of that applies to PowerApps. We've taken some example of best practices that we've seen, like sharing customer stories. Organizations like Heathrow, Manuela, every month they send an example of, look what Jane did in this department and how she built a great app, and you can do it too. And if you know Jane and you know that she's not a developer and she could do it, you're encouraged to do it as well. So send customer success stories, have newsletters, have a time where people can get together, exchange ideas, talk to each other, right? So build a Yammer channel just like SNCF did. Here are some more concrete activities that Manuela, who's a champion of PowerApps at Virgin Atlantic, does. She talks about community. It is about embracing community. It is about putting sort of a human face to the technology within your organization. For people in Virgin, Manuela is PowerApps, right? They think of PowerApps, they think of Manuela. They know where to find her. They know she's a trusted ally, as she puts it there, and is approachable. And then from an activity perspective, she's taken time to have one-on-one lunches for folks she's identified to telemetry. So now you have telemetry in place. It'll point out to you that Jane has been building 2 apps, 5 apps, 10 apps. Now you know it's time to have lunch with Jane. Hey Jane, what's going on? How can I help you? Did you know that we have these resources to help you there? Welcome emails, again, share customer stories, have people come and present to each other. It all grows organically. Put up those sessions. Some examples of these now, again, more concrete. Schlumberger, here's a hackathon they're having next week. They've had others before, and we thought those were phenomenal in scale, and look at this. 960 participants doing an all-up PowerApps hackathon virtually around the globe. And Schlumberger is doing it because they find business value in it, right? It's a nurture motion because it helps solve. It takes items away from an IT backlog, and it comes from business. They feel empowered. Again, C107, a whole set, in the entire day, we have customers presenting their customer stories. So again, if there's one, anytime you get lost, you don't know which room to go, C107. There'll be a customer telling a great story. It's all in that room. Digital Learning School. Again, SNCF, they set up a e-training platform. And what it is, as you can see, it is a PowerApps with content on PowerApps. And for SNCF in particular, they wanted to curate more French-friendly content. So they took a lot of our content, built learning paths around them, and put them in their organization. From a learning perspective, again, a nurture motion, they built an app catalog. So what they do in here is, you talk to Jane, she's doing great work. Her, from the SNCF perspective, what they call digital centers, these are actual physical train workshop where trains are repaired. This center in Lyon is doing great work. We have exactly the same problem somewhere else. Let's highlight it here. Let's have someone else pick it up and say, hey, I want exactly the same app, and then have them share ideas. So what SNCF has done great at is take what, and I guess the GSK, we have GlaxoSmithKline, we have Simon there. What Simon's done a great job as well across the globe is take ideas that worked in one center, highlight them, and very often people say, we have exactly the same problem. Can we get that, customize it to our end, and make it work? So that was the evangelism and training part of the nurture motion. The next thing you need to do is technical guidance. And what we mean by, and we struggle with finding the right name in here, what we mean by technical guidance is supporting the developers who are building PowerApps. So there's a support piece which is about end user support, right? You're using a PowerApp. What's the support model around that? But what's your model around supporting the developers who are building PowerApp? So here I'll introduce another customer, Standard Bank. Standard Bank has 20 plus people center of excellence around PowerApps. Here's their model of engaging with the business, and I'll tell you where it fits into from a developer support perspective. They're a unit funded by IT, but they deal only directly with business. So and this is unique to Standard Bank, but there are learnings for all organizations. What they do is they're central IT. There are departmental ITs, but if a unit comes to this center of excellence, they deal directly with businesses only. And of course, the business IT can support it, but it's all about enabling the power user persona in the business itself. So it's in some ways a central IT funded way encouraging shadow IT. And that shows the level of maturity in that organization around low code, right? Then they tailor their engagements. They have 3 types of engagements. If the business unit is mature enough to pick it up themselves and have the right persona, or maybe they have the right vendor budget, where they are ready to bring in people where Ian, who runs the Center of Excellence, can support, those can just be coaching engagements. Now, all of these engagements, they do get deeply embedded with the business, but they might get embedded to just coach. Or they have co-dev engagements where they're saying, hey, we'll come in, we'll embed for a few months, we'll build the first few apps with you with the explicit notion that we are going to leave in a few months, and you would have built the expertise to carry it forward. Or, of course, some organizations say, I don't have that expertise, I don't have that power user persona, I don't have the budget to take it over from a vendor perspective potentially. I want you to build it for me, and let's build a contract where you guys can also help us, support us long term. So the Center of Excellence does all three. For each business unit, as the business case comes to them, they'll tailor engagement, they'll choose what approach to do, and then go with that approach. And this fits into our piece around developer support. You have to be conscious around that in terms of which approach you want to set up in your organization. There are different, and all of them do work. You need to build a model either as on a per engagement basis like Standard Bank, or an all-up engagement model saying this is what my COE will do. We'll do coaching, but we are not a build with organization, or we are a build with organization. Here's how you make a business case for it. You pick an approach from the one above, and what they are finding now is because it's a centralized COE, very often a new business request that comes, they've already solved something very similar for a different organization. They can now start taking the best practices and carrying them over. So they can share the common assets. Ian was telling me in their organization now, any request to build something from a professional developer or to buy has to go via him, and he has to certify that no, it could not be done in low code. That's why it's worth spending the additional money on pro dev or to buy it. So that's the level of maturity they've reached. Dedicate a team. So he's very conscious about if you're building something for a business unit, you don't want to be that central team. You have to embed in business. So his folks then embed in business for whatever period of time, build it with the business, and are very rapid in their iteration. So one thing with PowerApps is people talk about, and there are different types of apps, and I'll talk to it, and there are apps that can be churned out in days. There might be apps that take 6 months to go into production. But what I can guarantee with PowerApps is in those 6 months, you'll have something working in the first month itself. It's not like till the 5th month is just, you still haven't seen what the person's building, and on the month before it goes in production, you finally see it for the first time to give feedback. You iterate quickly. Throughout the journey, you keep iterating. You get feedback, and people always tell stories about folks come in, give feedback, folks say, hey, wait, they change it right there, republish it, and it's done. And people are like, wow, this normally would have been take the process back, come back with a bid, say this will cost you this much more. You can be far more agile with PowerApps, and that's what he talks about in number 5. So that's the piece around technical guidance. The last piece I had on nurture was around tools and best practices. We have Pat Dunn here on the front row as well, who runs our COE for Microsoft, and they've done a great job around after you've already been successful with building apps, putting them out there, how do you make them even more proficient by pre-building blocks that they will use in their application? So one thing the COE can do is build components. So components are reusable canvas components. Build a menu bar that will be used in your organization consistently. You will see a set of apps there on the screen. These are from a Thrive apps at Microsoft. Thrive is a series of HR apps. This is all public. If you look at a blog post, it talks about our investment in PowerApps on HR. Look at them, consistent look and feel. There's a central look and feel that Pat enforces. All of them look exactly the same. All of them follow the same pattern. All of them have a way to provide feedback to the app developer on the app. This is all enforced by the COE. There are reusable components. If you're using the same menu bar, let's build a menu bar once and then give it to all power users saying, embed it in your app, you don't need to rebuild it. PCF is PowerApps Control Framework, allows pro developers to professional developers to build controls that can be shared, just like the reusable canvas controls. Build APIs in your organization that, we have a whole connector infrastructure in PowerApp. If there isn't a connector for a backend that your organization uses, build an API, make it the official connector in your organization to get to that backend. And then for the people using the common data service, for our friends in the oil industry, you could you could standardize on here's our schema, here's how in common data service we define an oil well, and then share it across different organizations so you get data consistency in terms of schema. So these are again areas of investment beyond nurture and administration that organizations can do to make their folks further productive. Oh. Yeah, we made good progress. Here we are. So supports one thing. So support is interesting in particular because it should come up. Okay. So support is interesting in particular because when we talk about there isn't a one size fits all. That's especially true for support. So here's what my guidance would be is for support in particular, I guess you guys have most organizations have a model around end user support irrespective of what the technology the app is built in. And I think that carries forward to PowerApps as well. I was talking to again Manuela from Virgin Atlantic, and she talked about from how their perspective the contract they've built with a particular vendor around support is all up. It includes, they just re-sign their contract, it includes Office, it includes Azure, it includes PowerApps. It's just another piece of the technology landscape that you guys are constantly dealing with. So one thing I did want to talk about, what's in here is, and again, this is completely an example. This is learning from what we've seen in customers, but there is absolutely in this space this could be categorized into why not 7 categories, absolutely. It could be 10, it could be very differently how you define it. So the point here is, again, make a plan. Look at your apps, categorize them, figure out where it fits in your landscape, and then build a plan based on app category. Having a plan all up it makes more sense in context of the app itself. So there are a series of apps that would be productivity apps built by the app developer itself, where it makes sense for them to be agile, for them to continue supporting it, and to have a crisp contract or script understanding that that's with the business, that you guys are building it, you guys are running with it, and you guys are comfortable owning it going forward. Then there are a series of apps maybe in the mid, where we've seen what organizations do is they've either put a process where IT will stamp it saying, if this person goes through this training, every month keeps educating himself, he's a blessed whitelisted PowerApps developer, and then the apps that he's building, we are willing to take escalations on top of. So there has been IT model on blessing people from a training perspective or blessing app, saying we talked to Jane in that organization, I had lunch with her, they decided that this app makes business sense, Jane has a good read on it, we've built a transition plan in case Jane wins the lottery, and then in the meantime, if escalations happen, we understand it, here's our contract on how IT will get involved. So it's blessed, it's understood, but not all important apps and apps need to be owned by IT. Bless the developer, put a collaborative model in place, and figure out which ones for an IT model, and then there'll be a series of apps, which in some ways PowerApps is moot. It's an app, it's no matter what technology you built in it, here's what we do. This all go through anything that touches our production instance goes through our ALM cycle. It follows this test module. PowerApps has resources to do exactly what you would do with other technologies. If it needs to go through dev, UAT, prod, do that in PowerApps. Set up the same model, do it. It's owned by IT. It's not any different than any other app. So for support, my only guidance is look at your applications, categorize the landscape, be creative, understand with citizen developers, trust them for a series of their applications, support them in a series of other applications, and if you need to own support for a series of other applications beyond that, absolutely do that. Last category, operations. And operations is essentially around everything that you were doing manually, now automating it so that as it takes off in your organization, it becomes easy. Here we'll take the example from Chevron. Here real screenshots of a process that exists in Chevron. In PowerApps, we have a concept of environments. if someone needs to request an environment, what they need to do in Chevron is go to this Power App internally, request the environment that they need, request how long they need it to, immediately in an automated fashion, the environment is provisioned. It's a trial environment, it's valid for 30 days, an email is sent to the user letting him know that. The email contains resources on what they need to learn. The email contains telling them what they need to do if they need to extend it beyond 30 days. You can extend it for 3 times. If you don't do it enough beyond that, it will get deprecated. Once you've been successful with the app and you now want to move it to production, you've already built it in your trial, you're successful, you go to a different Power App, you request what production instance you want to migrate it to. There's a lot of back-end plumbing work happening in here, all of it automated, operationalized by the Center of Excellence at Chevron. From an end-user perspective, click, give me an environment, do my work, click, deploy it to production, seamless at their end. So again, a great industry-leading example of operationalizing Power Apps. And with that, I have the pleasure of introducing Warren on stage. He's the product manager for Power Apps within Chevron. Welcome to stage, and thank you for being a great partner. And
thank you.
What's interesting about the Chevron story in particular is that they've been unique. They've invested upfront in a very conscious fashion with the plan to go huge in their organization with on Power Apps. And Warren will talk about the success they're seeing with Power Apps already before it's even officially live in their organization. So Warren, all yours.
All right, thank you. So thank you all for having me up here. My name is Warren Bryant, as Saurabh said, thank you. My official title is PaaS Governance and Services Lead at Chevron, but what that really means is I'm the product manager for the PowerPlatform and the teams that we've built around that. A little bit about me, you can feel free to follow me on Twitter, but you'll get a lot more about my personal interests than my work interests, so I'm not one of those work tweeting kind of guys. I've been with Chevron about 10 years. Before that, I was mainly with small companies that we would have never envisioned having a COE about anything, just because we wouldn't have been big enough for that. And overall, I love IT. I work in IT all the time. I've been in IT for 20 plus years, but I'm actually really bad at the IT part of it. I'm more of trying to help the business solve problems, trying to figure out those pieces. You can find a lot better guys that'll build cool tools, will actually put these things in use than me. I just love trying to help enable everybody else. So that's where this role was awesome for me, and I've really loved doing it. If you're not familiar with Chevron, Chevron's one of the world's largest energy companies, second largest in the United States. You know, we get outside the United States, we've got operations on just about every continent other than Antarctica. So when Microsoft comes to us early on and said, well, tell us about your use cases, we couldn't give them an answer. We said, because we have use cases across everything. There is nothing that we can just pinpoint and say, this is our use case. So that actually jumps into the next piece, which was why low code? You know, low code is something that has been talked about. We've seen low code for a while, you know, in various forms or fashion, but why now? Just like everybody else, we have this huge digital improvement opportunity. And at the same time, we're competing for the same resources with Microsoft, with many of you here in the audience. It's hard to get people, so you really have to broaden that base of who you're gonna allow to do the development. We also know that we're on a timeline. We've got to be able to do this quick. We've got to be able to make sure we're solving the right problems and getting people in a position to be able to do that. But at the same time, we have to do it in a way that's safe. We can't go the old route of Excel spreadsheets with macros and Access databases proliferating everywhere. So having the platform that allows us to reduce the shadow technologies and then also leverage some of our DevOps principles and build those DevOps tool sets like Saurabh showed earlier. That was one of our tools that was showcased yesterday in the DevOps session. So as part of our journey, we started 2017 with a big partnership with Microsoft, specifically around Azure, but that also triggered us in early 2018 to start just investigating, well, what is this PowerApps thing? How is it gonna fit into our Chevron environment? So at that point, it was really just me. It was, Warren, go investigate what PowerApps is, what it's gonna mean for Chevron, how are we gonna use it, are we gonna use it? At that point, we weren't even sure. I had some other people that I was working with, just people that were interested. Maybe total for that first part of the year was about 20 users total that had any kind of access to PowerApps when we were investigating it. There was enough interest, we kind of did a little bit of an internal lean startup type approach to developing this. And then we jumped into a pilot program where people got interested, word of mouth started spreading. We would give people licenses on request. People would come and just say, hey, I want a PowerApps license. I just want to play around a little bit more, and we'd get them going with it, and we'd just track and see what they were working on. A little bit later in the year, around September of last year, feels like ages ago, but it's really not even a year ago, we said, what's going to happen if we really actually put some effort into evangelizing this, if we take it to a next step? So we did our enterprise proof of concept. We took 4 separate business units and specifically worked to get their ideas off the ground so that we could see, does this work in our different geographies? Does this work across our different business segments with different business problems that everybody's trying to solve? So we weren't trying to see, does it work for one problem? It's, does it work for a variety of problems? And then at the beginning of this year is when we officially stood up our central team, and now we're over 20 people that are working on that team. From there, we went ahead and got an enterprise agreement in place with Microsoft because we were seeing the trajectory, we were seeing the uptick and the use cases getting built out and people being interested. That helped when we had enterprise availability because it took some of that early licensing roadblock off the table, and that's really what we've been focusing on, is removing as many roadblocks as we can. And then all the way through May when we launched our support portal to help get people through the early stages of going and getting their apps going. And right now we've got about a little over 200 apps and a little over 5,000 users active right now. We see that growing even bigger. My GM's actually here in the executive track, and he said, and this is all happening, and we haven't even officially sent out a mass communication on our product being live. This is all word of mouth so far. As far as key learnings from that journey, we heard earlier that culture is critical. So being able to understand your culture and how this fits in, a lot of the things that we've done are specifically to culture hack our company and our different businesses. You also have to think big. We have to do that in order to stay ahead of where our customers are going, our customers being the developers, being the people that are wanting to solve problems. If we only focus on what we're doing now, we won't be able to stay ahead of that as fast as things are changing. Every journey is different. That was another thing we heard. I don't think you could just take our roadmap and say ours is going to look just like this. You're going to have to figure that piece out for yourself. You're going to have to look at what that culture is, what makes an impact, what things resonate with your users and what things don't resonate. Ultimately, our goal, and we said we're going to enable from the center but differentiate on the edge. I'll talk about that a little bit more. Always keeping the next step in mind, especially with as fast as features are coming out for the PowerPlatform, how quickly we need to be thinking about how we're going to continually enable our users. For example, with the AI Builder, we're already thinking about that. So that way when it goes GA, we'll be able to have a good answer for our users. And one of the key things for us from a COE perspective, and it was a little bit of a click on our path, was that we needed to really enable the portfolio and not solve just one business problem. Our business problem became, how do we build 1,000 apps at scale, not how do we build one app? And sometimes it makes you look at the problem a little differently and how you solve it when you think about that. Overall vision of success, that we're building apps that are close to the people closest to the business problem are the ones building the apps. They're able to rapidly crank out true MVPs. We're still feeling out that MVP concept a little bit. But we do want the apps to be intuitive. We want them to be easy to use. That'll help reduce the overall support that's required. The guardrails are established at the platform level, so that way we have fairly good confidence that people aren't just doing crazy things in the environment and exposing us to any risk that is unreasonable risk. Making sure that we're continuously evolving the architecture so we're not locked in any one piece. So if we build a Power App and we write the formula for a calculation in there, we may decide to change that later and put that over in an Azure function and call the API to do the Azure function. And being able to be flexible with that and with this platform is part of that vision. And ultimately, we just want to automate as much of the operational support away as possible, so that way we don't have to spend time on the operation side of it. We need to spend more time on the innovation side. And so to do that, this is our version of the center of, I guess the term is center of excellence. I like to consider it center of enablement. It's really those business product teams are the ones that are out there being excellent. The other teams are just there to help support them. As part of our journey, when we were doing the POC and the different path we took last year, we identified the 4 main personas that you see here that each team is there focused on. So you have a DevOps team that's supporting the developers, you have the power user support team supporting innovators, we've got the development support team supporting leaders and product owners, and the OC team supporting the community. Those personas are not mutually exclusive. You can have people that exist in any one or all 4 of them at times. So diving into each one, I always ask our team members, what are you doing to make your customer's life easier? So for the business product teams, ultimately they're working on making an end user's life easier. They're the ones that are doing the innovation. They're the ones that are accountable for quality, and they have to understand that from their product teams. Those teams have all kinds of various makeups. Sometimes they start off big because they know the problem they're going to solve and they know what it's going to take, and they're just using this platform as a tool to make it happen. Sometimes it is that one person doing innovation on the edge, out in a business unit, out in the field, and all different kinds of patterns that we've seen on those, and we just really let them self-form. Getting into the DevOps team, what makes a developer's life easier? We try to take as much overhead off of the developer as we can so that they can really focus just on being able to build their app, automation, self-service, security, creating standard data entities, having some of those metrics monitoring tools available. That's really what it's all about. It's if we have a this is where our pro developers actually sit as well, because they're the ones that can leverage some of the scripts, they can write the PowerShell, they can interface with all the APIs that are available. They have a much better comfort level with that for the platform than some of the non-pro developers. So this is where we've been able to leverage them so that their experience can enable a broader group there. We have the power user support team. These are the group that supports the innovators, expert help, coaching. You can almost think of this like a help desk, but it's really not a help desk. It's a help desk of experts, almost like we have out here in the expo hall where you have the Ask the Experts session. But these are those folks that are there that if we have a citizen developer, we have somebody that is trying to work their app and they're just stuck. They don't know how to go forward and they're blocked, and we don't want them to be just sitting there over and over and over again and waste weeks at a time trying to solve one problem. So this group is there to help get them over that hurdle. They also are available, so that way if we have a platform problem or we have a problem within our network that prevent usage, this is the team that helps communicate that out to everybody. For the development support team, this is about what makes the product owner's life easier. We're still in an early phase of shifting this mindset to products and product ownership and product development. So sometimes we actually have to really front end load and help people out early when they say, I've got this idea, I want to be able to put this into production, but I just don't know how to get started. And this is the team that can step in and help them do that. Sometimes it's around designing architecture, making sure we know where we can get data from. Sometimes it's around just consulting on staffing a project and doing some resourcing and figuring out, who's going to build this. Is it one of those situations where you're just going to be a citizen developer that's building it yourself, or do you need a team of 4 or 5 people because of the different integrations and the different complexities of your problem? Sometimes what we even do is we do have folks that'll jump in and pick up and do heavy lifting and actually help write an app in the short term. Help pick up the idea, the use case, and show them how to get it to an MVP version. To help jumpstart that development so they're not even waiting for these other resources to show up if they're getting resources from somewhere else. This team also builds our reusable utilities, so things like the app catalog that was shown earlier. Our version of that should be coming out here pretty soon, and this is the team responsible for those. To me, that's an important part to have with this team, because this team, they've got to have a reason to keep their skills current and up to date so that when they're out there helping to jumpstart and helping to work on other products, then they're relevant with their information. They're not just consultants that jump in and don't actually do anything. So we try to keep a lot of this team building and not just consulting. And finally, we have our organizational capability team. This is the one where we say, what's overall just going to make the community better. So they own our community of practice, they own our training, prototype demos, knowledge sharing, a lot of the things that we're talking about, the nurture component from the earlier presentation. And that's owned by our OC team. How we've also structured our environments. We heard earlier about enabling and having guardrails. We have two. We have a productivity apps environment and a business engineered apps environment. The productivity apps is the one that, in this world is the default environment. And we've actually just really locked it down, but everybody has access to it. Anybody can go in and build it. Basically, if you can build it, go and build it. You don't have to ask permission. You don't have to check in with anybody. Just go do it. That gets people up and running. That gives people a direction. Sometimes they get in there and say, well, I've built this app, but I also want to do X, Y, and Z that may require more capability than we've allowed in that environment, and that's where the business engineered apps come in. Those are environments that have lower guardrails, so for at least now, we do have to put more overhead on them just to make sure they're not opening up security holes. That's where it takes a business engineered app environment in order to write custom connectors, to do any custom code that extends the platform. That's also where we have CDS enabled, because we do have CDS turned off in the default environment for now. Ultimately, all of this still sits on the platform, so all of it's run by the same underlying technology. It's just about what they're trying to do and the capabilities that we have either turned on or turned off. But in either scenario, we have a path forward for people to get their ideas into production. And finally, the methodology we've been using is just a methodology of empowerment. Give everybody the ability to do whatever they need to do. They own their product, so we heard a little bit about the support model. For us, we even tell them, you need to figure out the support model. This isn't something where I'm going to be able to sit here and tell you what the support model should be. Everybody has been on self-organizing teams. I get people come up to me all the time and say, hey, we have a team that's building this app, and I would have had no clue about it. We're not trying to foster and trying to tell people, go work on this team to build this app. Obviously using our Agile, Scrum, Kanban type work, and then we're even with our Center of Excellence leveraging some of the SAFe constructs, Scaled Agile framework. That's new for Chevron. We're trying to adopt it at a larger Chevron level, and we're incorporating that into our team's working practices. And so overall, this is just the start of our journey. This is obviously not the end. We see some of the future being that we'll be building smaller apps with more integrations. We're trying to get people out of the mental model of monolithic apps, trying to rapidly increase the speed at which we're evolving and improving these apps, and also leverage more of our Azure functionality, both via any kind of connectors into Azure services, or even some of the new things that are coming out like the AI Builder that are leveraging those Azure services as well. And ultimately, if I have to leave you with any takeaways, it would be just jump in, get started, and go fast. It's all going to change, and even what we have right now, it's going to look different a year from now, even what our Center of Enablement is. And then just so expect to evolve and grow over time.
So, call to action. Hello. Yeah. I had a call to action in there around the Center of Excellence Toolkit, and then I think we have 7 minutes for questions. So hopefully there was value in this presentation for you guys. Do give us feedback on the session, and then we hear from questions. Pratap, you're welcome to come on stage. Yes. You mentioned the deck will be available. Where can you access that? The deck? The deck will be as part of the Business Application Summit Toolkit website. It's been uploaded there. All the deck will be available there.
Within 24 hours, it should be available. That's what I was told.
Yeah. So within 24 hours, folks. Any questions? Yes, sir.
With all the changes that are rapidly coming to the tool set, how do you keep your compliance and IT security engaged so there's a comfort level with the power of these Power Apps?
I'll just repeat the question for the recording. It was about, at the pace at which the Power Platform is moving, how do you keep your compliance teams and your compliance certifications up to date?
So we've been bringing them along with, we've actually been putting some of those folks on the team so that they're being able to watch it along the way and see the evolution for that exact reason, because you can't keep up with it if you're only consulted once a quarter or something like that. It's just not really feasible. So by really bringing them in so that they see how it's all going to work and fit together, that lets them be able to provide guidance on the fly rather than trying to be reactive about it.
Do you have any sort of a centralized app catalog so that you prevent duplication of effort from person to person?
So the question was, has Chevron invested in a centralized app catalog so that people are not reinventing the wheel every time?
We're actually building it right now, and I was actually a little disappointed because now I look at this and say, oh, under number 10, they're going to be providing this as part of the Center of Excellence Toolkit. So I'm going to have to go take a look at that. But we're in the process of building it. We're probably going to roll it out here in the next couple of weeks. One of the things we were waiting on was for the components framework to go GA, so that way we could actually bake the components in, because that may even be for us a more critical piece than just the app catalog. So for now, most of our app sharing and trying to help prevent rework is just done through the community. So we've got a Teams group, we've also got a workplace group where we're just having people share organically what those apps they're building are.
Follow-up question, is that anything that Microsoft is looking at doing of app discovery in terms of similarities between apps? Like, if you build an app, you're obviously using the same connectors as other apps. Is there a way to self-discover to say your app looks like another app that's already been created?
Yeah, the question was around any investment in the platform itself, around an organizational catalog, and also more around being smart about, I guess, figuring out where people are using similar patterns and flagging it. So that's a great suggestion, actually. I don't know if we've had the thoughts around investing from the AI perspective potentially as well. So I think that'll take back to the product team. We do invest in nurture in terms of, recently we started allowing developers to sign up to receive emails which will tell them about how their apps are doing, and then potentially about similar apps in their organization. That said, we also have home.dynamics.com, which is the catalog that you would go to see all apps in your organization, and we do have additional investments coming in that space.
It's a great suggestion. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we are over time a bit, so we are still around. If you want to have questions, come over and we can answer questions here or outside the room.
For the customer sessions are in C107.